All right, everybody, let's talk about the pullback. You're all probably thinking right now, what's this guy talk about? There's no pullback. Everybody knows that this thing just keeps going higher. There is no pullback. Federal Reserve, BlackRock, U.S. Treasury, and other shenanigans keep pushing this thing higher. Well, I beg to differ. I don't deny it's being pushed higher and it's going higher and higher and higher. But for those of you who've been watching my YouTube channel, you know that I've been talking for at least 2 or 3 weeks now of the pullback, correction, crash, whatever you want to call it. So let's dive into that. Why do I say that? Today we're going to look at something a little bit different that I believe is going to give more credence to this pullback, this correction, this crash that I believe is coming. Okay? At the upper left-hand corner, you see September 6th. E-mini S&P 500 futures. Labor Day is basically over. We are Monday night. And the futures market's been trading since last night. It closed noon today, Central Standard Time here in the United States of America, and reopened 5 hours later. So it's been open, 2 or 3 hours now. Look in the upper left-hand corner there. You see April 15, 2019. It says 2 weeks later pullback. What am I talking about? Go to the very, very bottom. This is called a volume oscillator. April 15th. Look at that arrow. What's going on there? Big, huge dip in the volume oscillator on April 15th. And what happened? 2 weeks later, we had a nice little pullback. I mean, it's clear as day, right? You can see the volume oscillator down there, lower left-hand corner. Clearly, it's a dip, yeah? Nice low. 2 weeks later, we get the pullback. Of course, the Big Daddy shows the pullback. The Stochastic Momentum Index shows the pullback. But the volume oscillator actually predicted the pullback. That's right. I hope you all are beginning to catch on what goes on this YouTube channel. We're all about making money. We're all about forecasting and predicting what's going to come up, right? Because that's super helpful, correct? Now, in this case, the Big Daddy forecast did not give us a really big number on April 15th. This is a weekly chart, by the way. Keep that in mind, weekly chart. So the weekly chart, the Big Daddy forecast didn't say, hey, watch out. See, I don't just rely on my own algorithm. I'll look at all available tools in my toolbox. And the volume oscillator here on April 15th on the weekly chart said, look out. And the Stochastic Momentum Index was screaming pretty hard. This is one of those times where I ignored the Big Daddy forecast and I looked at the volume oscillator and I looked at the Stochastic Momentum Index, and the volume oscillator said there's something going to happen. And it did 2 weeks later. Let's look to the right of that at the top of the chart. January 13, 2020. 4 weeks later, crash. Now that's a crash. That's the pandemic crash. Look at the very bottom. January 13th, 2020. Look at that. Look at the oscillator. Volume oscillator. Nice little bottom. Now this one was great. This was awesome because it came out from the bottom of the volume oscillator, started going up. Big Daddy forecast had a nice little peak right around the same time. Oh, all the bells and whistles are going off on that one. What happened 4 weeks later? Crash and bang and boom. Okay. Let's go to the right of that one. We got August 24th, top of the chart, right in the middle. August 24th, 2020, 1 week later, pullback. Again, very bottom. August 20th, 2020. What does the volume oscillator show us? You got it. Bottoms out. Now, on this one, it did forecast it, by the way, 1 week ahead. Okay. So you didn't have a whole lot of time to react to that one, but it did forecast. And the Big Daddy also gave us a spike. And the Stochastic Momentum Index was also screaming at that time. So I don't mind getting in that week a little late, because look at that, it was 4 weeks down. Okay, you can trade it down you can trade down into it, short and long going up. If you didn't watch my video from last night, I'll put it in the description. You can watch it. I'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, now let's look to the far right, upper right-hand corner of the screen here, of the chart. What do you got? August 23rd, 2023. What do we got? Well, we don't know yet, right? We don't know what we got yet because it hasn't matured yet. But look at the very bottom of the screen. August 23rd, 2021. What happened there? Well, what do you know? Volume oscillator bottomed out. It looks familiar, doesn't it? It looks very familiar. It looks doggone eerie familiar. It looks like August 20th. It looks like January 13th. It looks like April 5th. It looks like all the previous ones. It's got the same exact look to it. And it's beginning to come out of the hole. It's beginning to curl up. You know, even there's a couple of those smaller ones in there that I didn't highlight. There were pullbacks as well. They were 2-week pullbacks, 1 week little. But I didn't do the one like kind of in the beginning of 2021. There was like a 2-week pullback. So you look at this, August 23rd, 2021. Here we are, whatever. Today is the 6th. So what are we? A week and a half, 2 weeks later. The longest one was 4 weeks later. Was the pandemic crash. Another one was 2 weeks. The August 24th one was 1 week. Take your pick. How long do you think this is going to pull back? Are we going to get a crash? Is it going to be a correction? Is it just going to be a pullback? I don't care. I'll trade it. I'll trade what's in front of me. I'll take it. Doggone right, I'll take it. I'm going to trade that and make a bunch of money on it. Now, I want you to go back to the pandemic crash. January 13, 2020. Kind of in the middle of the chart at the top. We got that, which coincides with the volume oscillator at the bottom on January 13th. We got that nice low in the volume oscillator. 4 weeks later, we got the crash. But there's something else that's important about that particular crash. It happened to coincide very closely to an end of a big yellow cycle. See that big yellow arc? Well, that was right near a cycle low, a weekly cycle low. Okay? It happened a little bit early, but that's okay. Now go all the way to the right of the screen at the very top again, back to August 23rd, 2023. What do you see there? Well, we see this big yellow arc. When does that one come to an end? Somewhere between like September 23rd and the beginning of October. So I'm sorry, September 27th or the beginning of October. And on the daily, we got the daily chart. That cycles for September 20th or about 21 maybe. So you see how they begin to line up? You got the daily chart. If you didn't watch last night's video, again, the link is in the description. I talk about that cycle. That's the daily cycle ends around September 20, 21, 22, somewhere right in there. The weekly one is going to end about 27th, maybe the beginning of October. Kind of like the stars are aligning kind of thing. The cycles are in alignment, man. And we got this volume oscillator beginning to dig a deep hole. Looking just like historically something big is coming. Is it going to be a 3 or 4 week pullback? Is it going to be a crash and bang and boom 'em? I don't know. But it's coming. And I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, fine. I'll just admit it. Guess what, guys? I was wrong. Back on August 12th, I said we were going to get, I believe that was the beginning of a crash that was coming. A lot of people are like, you missed it. No, I didn't miss it. It's forecasting. It doesn't have to happen in a week or 2 weeks. It's forecasting. Back on August 12th, a huge number returned. And that number is significant. By the way, August 23rd, Big Daddy on the weekly chart, yeah, you guessed it, returned a big number, 453. One of the bigger numbers that we've seen on the weekly chart. I don't have it on here, but that's what it was, 453. Big number. So we got the volume oscillator showing us historically something is about to happen. We got the Big Daddy forecast giving us a pretty big number as well. We got, by the way, the stochastic momentum index on the monthly chart is at all-time high. It's still, as a matter of fact, going up even more. I talked about that maybe like in a video, I think last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. I talked about the stochastic momentum index on the monthly chart is at an all-time high. I think it's like 93 and a 91 or something. That's the fast and the slow moving lines. All-time high. When I say all-time high, I mean like 36 years going back all the way to like 1984 on the S&P, the E-mini S&P 500. Okay? All the way back to the beginning when the E-mini came online, at least as far back as TOS platform has the data. 37 years. The stochastic momentum index on the monthly chart has never been higher. It's screaming. It's telling somebody, throw some ice water on me. Do something. I'm on fire. Okay? So do I think we're going to get some type of price decline? Yeah, we are. I firmly believe that. I got a small position. We'll see what happens. I'm just holding that small position. Right now it's running at a little bit of a loss because the prices keep creeping up. But I'm not throwing in the towel yet because I kept this position fairly small. So I don't have to. As soon as this thing begins to roll over and I begin to see that we got some solid confirmation, I'm going to probably, if I have enough leverage on my account, because I got some other positions, we'll see how things go out. But hopefully I can close off some other positions profitable because I got some other things that are looking pretty good right now too, starting to really come around. If those close, I can get them closed and take the profit. Boom, bang, bam. I'll add to my contracts, my existing position for the E-micro S&P 500 on the December contracts. Which, by the way, even though the September contract doesn't show this, the E-micro December contract shows something very interesting on Friday. Big, huge volume spike on a spinning top. That's right. The December contracts on the E-micro shows a spinning top with a volume spike. That often, but not always, often precludes, or is a prelude, I should say, to a price drop. So that's my take on the S&P 500. Looking at the weekly chart here, I do believe we're in for a price decline. Could be huge. Coming up on a weekly cycle end, daily cycle. We also got options contracts expiring right around the third week of September. So there's a lot going on as we head into the later part of September. You know, a lot of people say it's too late. It's so close into the cycle, it won't come down. Yeah, go back and look at the pandemic. That all happened like lickety-split. Look at that pandemic back basically in the middle of the chart. The big old oval. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. 5 or 6 weeks. Crash. Happens quick. Boom. So it can happen. We'll see if it happens again. I'm not really too concerned about how big it is and all that. I just know that I'm going to trade it. That's what I'm going to do. Right now I'll keep my position small until I get confirmation. If you all enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click that little bell. Get notified as the videos I put them out. Talk to y'all real soon. Again, next time.